it's the nicest sporting facility I've ever seen. And I mean that in the
This.
context like I've played at Wimbledon, I've played at some of the nicest tennis clubs in the world. Not, it's nicer.
Hello, hello, everyone. Coach Tommy here, live Smashing Plastic podcast. The guy that you're seeing, you'll need no introduction, but we're going to let him do his thing anyway. The man, the myth, the legend, Travis Rettenmaier, aka the Rattlesnake himself. Travis, tell these people who you are so they are, as they're driving down Minnesota on a dark night listening to you on the pod, they know who you be.
Uh, I'm a fortunate derelict that fell backwards into the Bitcoin sports and worked my whole life to be a tennis player, failed miserably. And I always laugh that I spend 10% of the effort to be a pickleball player, and I'm treated with a lot more praise and grace than in my previous existence. So yeah, I'm a pickleball pro. I live here in St. Petersburg, and my whole life is related to pickleball at this point. Friends, pickleball club, facilities, you name it, I'm in it.
I think that sums you up in the most greatest way ever. So you were a dog on the beloved world of tennis. And I have to ask, just because I'm curious, were you anti-pickle ever? Like as a tennis guy
No,
getting into pickle, were you ever anti-pickle?
I mean, the only thing I'd say is I tried it for the first time in 2017, and I probably played four times. A good buddy of mine, Chris Marquez, who was actually the guy who got me to St. Pete. We were in Lakewood Ranch. I think it was 2018. Yeah, probably 2018. And I hit a few times. I was like, this sucks. The ball doesn't respond right. But I was never anti. I was just
Okay.
not like understanding of, I think we were using like an indoor Onyx ball the first
Sure.
time. I probably had some bootleg paddle. Like everybody, I bought a tennis paddle. But no, I was never anti in terms of, you know, people going out and playing and an elitist as a tennis guy. I never saw it that way at all.
Okay. Well, I could be on the phone with you forever, and I'm going to try not to do that. So I'm just going to pound some questions to you, let you do your thing. Biggest thing for me is people don't know this, but I want to know, where is pickle going to be a year from now, T? Where's pickle going to be 2 years from now? You're a guy that's in it. And I know even you have to be like, holy mother of God, like how fast is this thing gone? Where do you see us a year from now?
In the professional space,
Yes,
recreational
sir.
space, professional
I would say
space.
pro space.
Okay, the pro space, it's a really challenging question. No crystal ball, obviously, but I have my assessment. I think that there's a long way to go in terms of making it more intriguing as a viewer. I have some ideas myself that I wish that they would enlist, but I think it would make it appeal more, seem more athletic and appeal more to the average Joe watching. Like, oh wow, that guy moves really well, or he's super athletic, and I think there are some aspects of it that make it difficult. However, if you are a player, which we know 40 million people roughly are,
Sure.
then you can kind of respect the nuance to an extent. And so, for me to sit there and watch the ball be dinked around 5 or 8 times, it doesn't bother me because I can kind of like pay attention to them, setting it up like a chess match. They're looking for that space. They're going two or three moves ahead and they're gonna look for it. So I think we're in a TV deal. I'm gonna say yeah, 12 months sounds about right. I think a big TV deal comes within the next 12 months. And I hope that we fall more and more into the team space. I'm a big advocate for MLP. And should have said that. I'm a owner of Before to Smash. Got in early, got lucky. And I think that, if you're a casual fan, you want to root for a city, you want to root for a state, you want to root
I
for
agree.
something you can attach to. And so, I'm a Cali boy, always have been. And so, I root for the Lakers, I root for the Clippers, I root for the Niners, and that's just the way it is. So I hope that as time progresses, and I think it's leaning that direction, particularly after this MLP season, which was insane. Um, I think in 12 months you're going to see MLP at the forefront, and the PPA will do great. Those events will be awesome, but I do think that the TV deal is the part lacking at the moment.
Well, in twofold, I just to give you a little bit of background. So I'm a baseball coach by trade, got into pickleball coaching just because I had to, because so many of my players were starting to do pickle. So now I coach pickle as well. And I am a huge fan of the MLP. Like
Nice.
between you and I see that as that to me is where if I'm trying to figure out how to do high school sport, if I'm trying to make it to where we build club and all that stuff, I love that angle that MLP does.
Same.
Um, can you navigate the difference so that people understand what I don't get and what I'm trying to wrap my brain around is, well, and I'll use Uncle Ben for this example. Ben and Anna get to play together every single week in every event. I am telling you, just as a guy from the outside that is coming in, it bothers me because I'm like, I don't know. And I hear you talk about this all the time. I don't know how good that dude is with anybody else. I don't know.
I
I
don't
have
either.
no clue. I have no
Well,
clue.
I think that's a really fair statement. The godfather of all of this to me was Steve Kuhn. He was the guy who I first started meeting with, talking with. He kind of had this really grand vision about what pickleball was. And he used to say all the time, pickleball can save the world. But he always stated that he thought roughly half the events, individual events, should be random partners. And that when you decide and find out like who's really the best. Um, and I don't mean that I still think Ben is the best player in the world. I put
100%.
Diescu right next to him.
100%.
But Diescu is definitely better in the sense of if you hand him a random player, he's better with that player than Ben. And you
Right.
can ask yourself why. I think Ben, in the perfect circumstances, is the best player. But I think that Andre is uniquely gifted in uplifting the players around him and making them feel that they're better and making them feel like they're doing a great job. And that's a skill in itself, right? We see that in every team sport. There are certain guys that are super talented but don't make the players around them better.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, I'm with you on that front. I would love to see just for instance like a CJ Klinger who plays right every time. What happens if he plays with an exclusive right side guy? Like let's
Sure.
say it's Tardio or I would love to see the mix and match around, not just in the mixed, but uh, one of the things that makes NLP exciting is you get those random teams and you get to
Right.
see kind of who can play well in various circumstances. So it's a flaw, but I mean winners win, and they win a lot, nonstop, in fact. But I do think that if you gave Anna Lee probably 8 to 10 guys, she's heavy favorite regardless. So
Sure.
it is a difficult quandary, but it's the nature of the beast. Hopefully MLP kind of takes a stranglehold, and I think for sponsors it's even more appealing because of those storylines that you'll just never have on the PPA.
Yeah, I feel like, and even so, I'm actually getting ready to do a Christmas tournament here, and one of the things that I wanted to do, and I'm sure that you attest this. You play in St. Pete. I watch your pod. You're in and around people all day, not just pro pickle. And one of the things that I did with this event, Travis, is I literally wanted rotating partners of a round robin, no matter what your level were. Now, obviously, it's
Yeah,
not dupered, so that I don't have to listen to 47 people complain that their duper got hurt because heaven forbid we played with Margaret. You know what I mean?
I
But
hate that one. Yeah,
one of the things I like about that though is it goes back to why we all like, I don't know, legitimately like this sport to begin with, is now I'm actually meeting Travis Rettenmaier, who I would never meet if I were in a pro event, or if I wasn't in a pro event. I would never meet you to play with you because I'm not a 6+ player. But if you happen to be and you invite Coach Tommy down to come to play with you at St. Pete and we're in a rotating round robin, well, now I have a chance to actually play with Travis Rettenmaier.
right.
I'm using this as an example, but in our community, I want people that would never have played with Margaret the Black Pastor to be able to play with Margaret the Black Pastor. You know what I mean? Like, I
No
want
doubt.
everybody to be able to do that. I'd love just to hear your take, because you're so in it. You coach, you teach, you train, you equip, you do everything that I do, except you do it 55,000 times better. What is your take
Better
on,
is
and I'm
subjective.
I, I've seen some of these, and you've seen them too. Some of these memes, like now pickleball's becoming part of the elitist, right? Like only guys will play with this guy, and et cetera, et cetera. Don't you feel like that takes away some of the magic of the beautiful part of the community aspect of pickle? And this, what do we do for that? Are we combining it? Do we compete against it with things like I'm saying that I want to do is just, hey, let's do some rotating round robins. Let's see some players play with people that they wouldn't play with. I know. I'd love to hear your thought on that.
Really, really difficult question. But yeah, so the thing that really got me into pickle to begin with, and I always give Graham a lot of credit. Graham's a perfect example, a guy I would never have been friends with, never played with, never have interacted with. And, now I'm intertwined in everything that I do with him.
Right.
Have an enormous amount of respect for him. But we would never play. Like in the tennis
Right.
world, of course, it's exactly as you described because the athletic barrier is so high. And if I'm really good, it's not fun to play with guys who aren't as good as me. Pickle's not that way. To me, you can have fun playing with just about anybody. If I play with a 4-0 guy, which I do on the reg, we can absolutely think, practice, have a good time, play games, whatever it may be. In fact, Monday I went and played with two dudes that were 60 plus great guys, just enjoy their company. So one of the parts about Crescent that I've always referenced is I didn't get into pickleball to be a great pickleball player. That was not the objective. I got into pickleball because I went every night to Crescent Lake, this amazing park in St. Pete with cracks all over the court, no individual fencing. The balls are rolling everywhere, and I made 40 friends that I never would have known. I walked in and they would say some derogatory term my way, like "What's up?"
Sure.
Whatever, and I
Sure.
loved that. It was like, "Oh my god, this is cheers." Tennis never gave me that, so I think that's a twofold question, and that the paddles have spread that gap a bit. So just to put in context, when I first started playing, I never felt like I could overpower guys. I just didn't feel like that was a possibility. Since the paddle technology has elevated to the extent that it has, there's definitely a point that I can just literally drive through guys, and it makes it less fun. So I
Right.
think that kind of caters more towards this similar athletic build or similar athletic prowess, and we're all playing at a certain speed. That's one. Two, and it's difficult to do, but you have to have guys that are not pricks, that just
Yes.
aren't arrogant.
Right.
And I say that in the sense that I don't think I am. I'm pretty brash in a lot of things, but I play with. If you went to my wedding, it was 70 guys, age range 20 to 70. We all play pickle together all the time, and it's not a lot of like who's coming. Now, sometimes,
Right.
of course, if the games levels are too low, it isn't very fun. But we mix and match nonstop. We set up games all the time, 8, 12, 16 guys. And you just got to kind of take the ego out of it and recognize that there is a ton of fun to be had and a lot of potential just playing with random people. Every business connection I've made, every contact that I have, every interaction that I have, um, I view it now as more of an opportunity, as instead of like, oh, this guy's not good enough to play with me. I think of it like, well, what's your story? What do you do?
Right.
Who are you? And those interactions have been like incredible for my personal well-being, my lifestyle. Um, and yeah, you just kind of have to see it on the grand scope. It's not just a simple we're going to play some games, but we're going to establish a relationship and a friendship and interact with your community and kind of try to be, at least for me, it's really important that I kind of continue to be a foundation so that when I come, other guys want to play with me and I'm playing with everybody. So then they follow suit. And then, it's like the boat rises for everyone.
I think that's
So
absolutely fantastic answer. And at the end of the day, like you just said, the things that we can be intentional about getting better and we're playing, but we can also be intentional in the fact that we're just having fun. Like there needs to be just as
that's the
much some
objective.
intention of legitimately just having some fun, right? Like,
Yeah,
holy
no question.
crap, we're dealing with crap every day. Like if I can go with Travis and Travis beat the crap out of me for 5 matches in a row, I'm fine with that, knowing that literally I'm playing pickleball with somebody that I enjoy playing with.
No doubt.
Um, I had a chance to play with Eric Burns. I'm not. I don't know if that name runs a nail with you, but baseball player. Make a long
Okay.
story short, he played for the Giants, played for the Athletics, just a really good MLB player. But I played with him, and him and I had a long conversation about something that I've got to pick your brain about because I want to know what you think. Where is youth pickleball at, and where is it going? Where in 2026 do you see youth pickleball?
Um, Thriving. I mean, it's incredible now. I'm the first to admit that I was wrong. I used to say very clearly that the next wave of pickleball champions would be converts, whether it was soft tennis, ping pong, tennis. I'm wrong. It's not true. The next wave of pickleball champions is pickleball kids who've been playing for 6 years and are just absolute shredders. Um, Beyond that, the part that you cannot control, and this kind of goes to your previous question, pickleball has become a financial gain sport. People are seeing dollars at the end of the rainbow. And therefore, the intensity is picking up. But within that same breath, you get maybe someone who don't play in the spirit of sportsmanship or fair play. Maybe you get some parents who are a little bit aggressive towards their kids, and it kind of can lose that enjoyment. But that's impossible to control. So as far as the quality of play and the product and the people coming through, I think we're going to see in 3 years, 4 years, players that are just so infinitely better than what we're watching right now, that it'll be almost mind blowing. Because I think even still, I say all the time, I don't know if we're playing the game right. I really
Right,
don't know.
right,
Like
right.
there's so much to unpack. Um, and these kids are doing it. So like when I do the junior PPA clinics, a part of my contract was I'm happy to do clinics, but I wanted to do the kids. I just like kids; they're fun. They're more
Right.
fun to play with. Um, I was like taken aback constantly by the creative nature that they all have. Shots that I had never seen, that I would never think of, that I would never try, and it was like sports in a really good spot. It has a long runway of talent, and now as that shift to Asia, Europe, South America, and so forth takes place, it's just going to be an unbelievable wave to watch over the next couple decades.
So a couple pods ago, Trav, I had a kid by the name of Julian Slive. I don't know if you know that name or not. He's a Boca kid. He's got a twin
Okay,
brother. I met him here in Charleston. He was playing the PPA Challenger, and he's playing against James Delgado. He's 14 years old. He's in 10th grade. And Trav, when I tell you that he talked trash the entire time to James Delgado, and rightfully so, because James Delgado was, fueling him up, just as much,
he
right?
does. Yeah, yeah, he'll get it going.
I had to get him on the podcast and just hear him. And I will definitely, I'll have Sean send it to you. But when you listen to this 14-year-old talk about the technicalities of pickle and what he's thinking about and the shape shots that he's thinking about, like my
Yeah,
mind is spinning. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're 14 years old, bro. Like you're in freaking chemistry class at 11 a.m. And he is an absolute pickleball phenom on the rise that's going to be amazing to watch. But I feel like you're exactly right. Like that dude is going to be a game changer because he doesn't have the box that I have. He doesn't
right.
think like I, what I mean? He just doesn't.
Not even
He
close. I'm
doesn't.
far too refined. I say it all the time. Like my technique is far too refined. I've hit millions and millions of tennis balls probably, and that has given me a certain muscle memory that's hard to go out of. Um, a kid I just played with in World with Braden Jacobson. I think he's 15, 16, something like that. Just a little puppy.
Yeah.
And they're rewriting the rules. Like in every sport, I think there's like a certain fundamental technical kind of starting point. And these kids are just saying like, nah, I don't want to do it like that. I'm gonna do it like this. And so, for instance, let's say for him, for Braden, the general rule of thumb is like a two-handed dink. Now you kind of lock out the wrists, and you're kind of shifting up and down. Like Ben has added that shot.
Yes.
Braden does the exact opposite. His paddle face is completely open on the take back, and he flips the left wrist at contact unbelievably fast. Now, granted, it's a bit more risky, but the
Sure.
stuff he's able to do with it is wild. And so we saw that in tennis as well, guys that just rewrite technique. The long linear stroke of the big muscles. Nah, everyone's using their wrists now, just slapping the ball like crazy. And so that's unfolding, as we speak again. The rules are always being rewritten.
No, I think you're right. I especially see it. I'm sure you can attest, but like in the singles games right now, when you watch, like, it used to be kind of the nature of the beast, or you wanting to get your butt up to the net as quickly as you can to cut angles. But now, man, how much more are you seeing? Like, literally, you got a guy like, I don't know, that has to basically stay at the baseline in order to play this
Yeah, Chris Hayward.
bangerang. Yeah, Chris Hayward literally stays back there and shoots these piss missiles line after line after line. Like, it's completely different than what I saw just a year ago. Completely
No, no
different.
doubt, no doubt. I mean, when I was playing even 2 years ago, and I was still beefing at singles, it was come in 100% of the balls. There was no alternative. You just come in, come in, come in. I think that's a twofold thing also. Like guys are obviously the talent level's rising, so guys are getting better passing shots. But now with the lifetime ball and the paddles as they are, you're gonna get passed. So tennis obviously very similar. Again, when they brought out Luxilon or polyester string and they slowed down the courts, you look at the '90s, everybody serving volley. They changed the court speed, they changed the technology a little bit, and now no one can come in. If you don't come in on the right ball, you're getting passed. So it's very similar in that context. I personally miss the cat and mouse more in the
Right.
singles. I like that craft. But the game is what the game is, and it's gonna take the shape that it does. Hopefully it just doesn't get too much faster where that is completely negated.
But now I'm going to turn the wheel to you because something that I know that wets your whistle as it does mine, and that's the aspect of coaching. So for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have guys and gals on the podcast. We've got Dane Gingrich coming on, and guys, we've got Mackenzie, and we got some guys coming on the pod, which are really really good coaches. But I know that you coach. I know you're a great coach. I've watched some of your stuff with kids. It's really really good stuff. Can you give our
Thanks.
listeners, man, just some supercharged mentality on how important and how much of a catalyst it would be for them? I mean, you're a guy right now who's a pro pickler, and I know for a fact you have a coach. You train with the same pickleball trainer that I do, who freaking runs me like a goddamn wet
Nice.
dog. Tell all these people, man, how important that is, dude, to have people that are just coaching you, man.
Yeah, it's vital. You want continuity. Again, I'll take Braden Jacobson. He's got Elise Jones coaching him, and Elise is incredible. And I think the biggest part about the coaching aspect is, yeah, you need that second eye, but it kind of instills belief constantly. So you got to have the right coach. And I think that's important. You got to have the
Sure.
right coach. Isn't always easy. There's a lot of schools of thought. Every kid kind of reacts differently to different things, whether that's being a little tougher on them, being hyper positive, whatever that may be. But I think you've got to have someone from the outside that has the knowledge and has the brain waves to just be like, this is the path we're going to go. This is how I see your game. And then, hopefully it's a collaborative effort. Like I don't ever want to feel like I'm, just dictating everything. I need to know what they're thinking. I need to know what their thought process is. And if I'm smart enough, then I can help take their skill set and their brain and make them the best possible player they can be. But I think without a coach, you're kind of flailing in the wind. You're going to keep making the same mistakes. You're not going to have someone on the outside who can give you some insight. So yeah, it's vital. But also, take your time, find the right guy for you or the right goal for you. And when you find them, don't be one of those players who's like, I lost 2 matches. I'm going to the next coach. It's a losing proposition. You got to have process oriented. And so, it's more of a parent thing. And I reference them. You, it's difficult to tell parents, hey, there's an 18-month window here, not 2 weeks. It's 18 months. Like if you want me to actually do this correctly, there's a time frame to kind of get rid of some of the bad habits you have and give them the freedom to make the alterations necessary to become a better player. So I see a lot of parents like, well, they're losing. They're not like, yeah, well, that's because it's 18 months, I said, and we're at month 2. Be patient, like process oriented. And I think if you can maintain that and the coach has that same mentality instead of win right away, then you have a really good shot at success.
Yeah, it's really tough because you and I operate in the beloved world of microwave society, right? Like everything, you want the six pack today. We want to go out and
Wow.
win the matches next week. And in
Right.
sport, especially folks that have played higher level sport, I'm talking above high school, heck, even high school. When you get to the point to realize how difficult it is to win, no matter what sport it is, I don't care what it is, baseball, pickleball, whatever it may be. When you start getting up the levels, like legitimately bona fide winning is not easy, which is why they pay coaches what they pay coaches, right? It is extremely difficult. But to have that, I want to say the tenacity to be able to get up and grit and grind and gut it through, even when you're not winning, and have that process mentality. I don't know, man. That's the secret sauce to me, is always being in the process and not in the quote unquote peak of the mountain with the dub, if you know what
Not
I
yet.
mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%. It's not easy. We all want to win, but if you can be objective and look at it as a whole and you're making progress, then you got to kind of pat yourself on the back and keep going. There's no other way.
The one thing before we get into some of your nitty gritty that I love about you is, and I will give you this, is the kudos of integrity that you operate and abide by. You are one of those few guys
Ooh,
who are going to die on the hill of integrity. I know that. I've seen it. I've heard it. I've literally watched you in MLP and stuff. Where does that come from? Why in the world is that a lost art? I am a coach just like you are, so I see it, especially in the people that I compete against in every sport, whether it be baseball, whether it be pickleball. How do we lid that, man? How do we as a culture get to the point to where, like, you're seeing some of the nonsense that I'm seeing and some of the stuff that,
wow.
especially in the kiddos, man, it's awful, right? Like, what do we do? What's your plan of action on that?
Yeah, it's a great question. For me, it came a lot from my dad. I was lucky. I played a ton of father-son nationals with him, and he
Okay,
was always kind of a guy of like 6 inches out. If I didn't see it, it's in. If I'm not
got it.
100% sure it's in. And he was adamant about that from the time that I was very little. It's just how he was wired. It was never like taught to me. It was never stated. It was just expected. It was always the way it was. And so for me, there's a poem I love, not to get too flimsy here, but it's called The Man in the Glass. And it essentially says like, when everyone looks at you like you're the king, you pass the judgment of the man in the glass. I wouldn't be able to sleep, so like it's a kind of a double-edged sword for me because I like banter, I like dialogue, I want to talk trash, I want to have
Yep.
fun, and I can sometimes teeter on that edge. But at the end of the day, I want fairness, and I've noticed it with myself. Like, um, if the ball passes by me and it's in, my hand automatically goes out in. I don't even have the ability to like, oh, maybe, and I just can't do it.
Right.
Um, so I don't know what it is, but I think it again goes back to that microwave type, society that you stated. Everybody is in such a pressure cooker to win right now, but the things you're giving up to do so, if you want to win that way, man, like you lose a lot of respect. And I think personally, for me, I wouldn't respect myself, which is the one that I need the most.
I'm gonna give you I'll give you ability to give some flowers. Are there anybody, and I'm sure there's a lot, but who on tour, man, that you play against or stands out is one of those guys that you just give an or a girl that you give an attaboy to that's how they operate? Is it most or is it few?
Um, I think it's pretty split. I think
Okay.
guys like Hayden, I've always watched. I've never felt like he's even close to a bad call.
Okay.
I think he calls it as he sees it. Like I'm not saying I've never missed a call, he's never missed a
Sure.
call, but I'm 100% certain that I called it exactly as I saw it, and I think he operates the same way. Pat Smith, super fair, to the point that I'd even like. I think honestly, if I said Pat, he missed that just because he
Right.
knows and trusts. He go like, I did, okay, no worries. There's others that are obviously far more contentious and want to play the good guy and be the two-faced, and that's hard to watch, hard to be a part of, hard to see, kind of ruins it. Um, but yeah, I would say it's pretty split. It's
Okay.
pretty
That's
split.
that's fair. Well, now it's going to be flowers time for you. I know you've got a lot on the horizon as we're getting kind of the nitty gritty. Tell us about this facility thing. I got to know, man. You got to bring us into speed, bro. Hook us. What in the world? Where are we at? St. Pete. All. Tell us some stuff for Travis Rettenmaier for 2026 that's coming up, man.
Yeah, man, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, I mean, so my good friend Graham and Ruben Freshman, a while back, we were always talking about a facility. I had a very simple vision of like 4 to 6 courts, a little snack bar, call it a day. Let's
Right.
go basically pickler style, and nothing
Sure.
wrong with that. It's a good model. These guys did not have that intention, and I was fortunate. I'm fortunate to be uh, aligned with them and kind of ride on their coattails, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I take absolutely no credit. I did absolutely nothing. But what these guys have put together is legitimately like it's the nicest sporting facility I've ever seen, and I mean that in the
Yes.
context like I've played at Wimbledon, I've played at some of the nicest tennis clubs in the world. Not, it's nicer. I mean, it's
Wow.
wild, man. Like you walk in and every detail, if you wanted to host a wedding, if you wanted to have a party, if you wanted to do, a nightclub with a DJ, like every room, every detail. So they have, as of now, 14 indoor pickleball, two padel, 55,000 square feet, coffee bar, smoothie bar, restaurant, and the service is like, it's 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 top class. You're playing on the court. We got pod play running, so you can get your replays. There's waiters and waitresses walking around. Can I get you something? Do you need some food? Do you need some drinks? And we got some ping pong tables, and just the whole experience is honestly it's overwhelming. And
Yes.
the vision that these guys had to pull it off, and they brought in some great investors. And I think the coolest part is, we went no debt. All the money we raised was people we played pickleball with.
Sure.
So, again, it goes back to that. You never know who you're playing with. Treat everyone with respect, because these were guys at a park with cracks on the court that love pickleball. And some of them happen to be CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. Some of them happen to be the janitor down the street. We don't know. And we don't give
Right.
a shit. We don't
Right.
care.
Right.
But those were the guys who made this facility possible. Ruben Pressman and Graham D'Amico deserve so much credit. Worked day in, day out, 12-hour days for literally almost 2 years to make this happen. And so, yeah, we had our opening event on Saturday, and then we did our friends and family event last night. So yeah, going from Crescent, cracked courts, no bathrooms, guys are going to pee in the bushes, to now feeling like you're at the Four Seasons. It's kind of a wild change.
What a life, man. What an app. I think I'm gonna get Sean to just title your podcast "What a Life," if you don't mind. That's what it's gonna be. What a
Hey
life
man,
with
trust
Travis
me, it's
Rettenmaier.
pure
You know what I
luck,
mean?
bro. I promise you, pure luck. I promise you, pure luck.
Absolutely awesome. Well, to wrap us up, first and foremost, because I've got you, I got to say thank you so much for tuning into this, man. This has been great. I
Of course.
want you to leave. Are you from SoCal? Or just where are you from in California?
Yeah. I'm a SoCal kid. I grew up in Camarillo, just outside Los Angeles, about 40 miles north.
I was
Went to
born in Long
UCLA.
Nice.
Nice, nice.
So
Okay,
I'm
little
so
Snoop
so
Dogg
we're
and Sublime.
yeah, so we're gonna pull somebody from our neck of the woods. Then we're just gonna say somebody in Huntington Beach. We'll go Harry in Huntington's listening to Travis Rettenmeier's podcast. Trav, give them a tip of the day from Coach Trav on, let's just say they're a normal 3.5 to 4.0 player and they want to get better. Give them something, man, that you can give them that they're going to get some true value from to wrap us up with.
I'll give him two. I'll give him two.
Perfect.
The one that drives me nuts, and I hear it all the time, is you stop to hit the ball and then you move. Like, let's say it's a third shot drop. You never stop it. It's like water, man. We're flowing. We're always moving. If you completely dead stop your feet, make contact and start running forward, very, very hard to get to that line. So is it easy? No. Is it correct? Yes. And you start working on your footwork of getting behind the ball, taking extra steps, and being fluid through the ball. You're going to gain so much more feel. You're going to feel a lot more athletic. That's one. Part two is where the ball lands is not that important. Where the ball crosses the net is everything. So a big change now in the game is I see people hitting these kind of like slow fluttering drops. Back in the day, even at the rec courts, those are getting racked now. It's not a good play. What's become extremely in vogue at the moment and holds a lot of truth, and I've had some really high level conversations with some players about this, is dinking in a way, hitting your drops in a way, hitting your drives way, almost aiming at the net strap regularly so the ball is unattackable. If I hit a drive 95 miles an hour, but it's 2 feet over the net, guys are crushing it. But if I hit a drive 25 miles an hour and it clears the net by 2 inches, I win. I'm getting the ball up. So focus less on hitting your drops in the kitchen. Focus more on where your opponent's making contact. And that holds true whether you're at the line, whether you're hitting drives, whether you're hitting basically anything, So I think it's a lot of like, I'm not looking where the ball lands. I'm looking at where they make contact.
Yeah, dude, that's gold, man. So good. Trav, I hope you enjoyed it, man. You did freaking awesome. So excited to have you on the
Thanks.
podcast. If okay with you, dude, we'll definitely
Appreciate you
follow up
having me.
with you a year from now and see how everything's going for
Sounds
2026.
good.
Excited for you, dude, man. You're doing absolutely do it. Keep killing it, bro.
Thanks, man. Good luck to you guys.
Hey everyone, Coach Tommy here. Thanks for tuning in to Smashing Plastic. Big shout out to Sean Monahan for the music, production, and editing. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe for more awesome content, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Those links are in the description. Now let's get out there and smash some plastic.